Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. We are here with the second part of cephalosporins. Before moving on to the learning objective of today's lecture, let's have a quick recap what we did in the previous lecture. We discussed about the chemical structure of cephalosporins. Their mechanism of action and mode of resistance is same as that of penicillin. Then we discussed about the classification of different generations of cephalosporins, and I told you an easy way to classify cephalosporins and to memorize them. Then we discussed about first and second generation cephalosporins, their names as well as their antimicrobial spectrum. And we move on. So the learning objective of today's lecture would be that at the end of this lecture, all the students should be able to, number one, classify third, fourth and fifth generations. Number two, you all should be able to differentiate between the various generations on the basis of antimicrobial spectrum, uses and adverse effects. I told you earlier in the previous lecture as well, this is a very important question of antimicrobial spectrum which is frequently asked in your examination. And whenever the spectrum is asked, write down the name of the organism, not the disease. And when the clinical uses are asked or the indication or the therapeutic uses, then you have to write the disease, not the organism. You have well attempted the assignment. Keep it up. Let's move on. So we'll be discussing about the third generation, and as we discussed previously that these drugs at the end of their names contain Me, 1 and 10, and the exception to it is moxilectin. So the third generation carries the name cefoperazone, ceftriaxone, cefotaxime, ceftexime, and cefotaxime, ceftazidime, ceftibuten, and cefixime. You have to memorize the name. And this was the graph I discussed with you in the previous lecture. So let's have a quick recap. As we move on from the first generation towards the higher generation, the spectrum of coverage against the gram-positive organism decreases as we move on to the generation, whereas the spectrum of coverage against gram-negative organism is going to increase as we move on to higher generation. Hence, in short, we can say that first generation is covering maximum number of gram-positive organisms and minimum number of gram-negative, whereas in second generation, the number of gram-negative organism increases, whereas gram-positive remains the same or decreases. Whereas third generation, as you can see that the red line is showing the highest number of negative coverage. Similarly, in fourth generation, it is carrying the mixture of the gram-positive coverage from that of the first generation and the gram-negative coverage from that of the third generation. So these are the difference between the various generation on the basis of their coverage against gram-positive and gram-negative organism. And we also discussed that to memorize in the first generation, the gram-negative organisms which it is covering is only PEC, which is Proteus, E. coli and Klebsiella, whereas in second generation, HEN-PECs, which is Haemophilus influenza and Enterobacter and Neisseria apart from PEC. And in third generation, we will be discussing that is HEN-PEC SP, and for SP stands Serratia and Pseudomonas. So this generation is covering the Pseudomonas, which is a very important microorganism which is causing serious infections, right? So this is the third generation. It enters the CNS. It has got a antimicrobial spectrum which is wider than the previous two generations when we talk about gram-negative coverage, which is PEC, HEN and SP, which we have already discussed. So this is an easy way to memorize them. And gram-positive coverage is same as that of the first and second generation, but with minimal effects. These are the microorganisms which are not covered by this generation of cephalosporins, and to memorize it, it's name. L for Listeria, A for atypicals like Chlamydia and Mycoplasma, then M for MRSA and E for Enterococci. MRSA is covered only by the fifth generation. So you have to remember it is the latest generation and it is covering the MRSA. The clinical uses of third generation cephalosporins. It is used for the treatment of sepsis and meningitis. In sepsis, of course, there are serious infections which are caused by Klebsiella, Enterobacter, Proteus, Providentia, Serratia, and Haemophilus species. There are also the drugs for the choice of treatment for meningitis, which are caused by H. influenza and Streptococcus pneumoniae and Neisseria meningitidis and various gram-negative enteric bacteria. Ceftriaxone, which is the third generation cephalosporins, it's a drug of choice against all forms of gonorrhea and severe forms of Lyme disease. Similarly, the third generation ceftazidime plus aminoglycoside, which is a protein synthesis inhibitor and has a very good coverage against gram-negative, is used for the treatment of choice for Pseudomonas meningitis. So, in short, the third generation is mainly effective against meningitis and the serious infections like sepsis. So regarding the fourth generation, it is containing two main drugs, number one cefepime and number two cefepirone. And to memorize this, I told you that in their names they have pi in the middle of the names. Fourth generation cephalosporins, they have a wide variety of coverage against gram-negative organisms, especially against Pseudomonas. And other organisms which it covers are Enterobacteriaceae, Staph aureus, Streptococcus pneumoniae, and Haemophilus influenza. Cefepime is given through intravenous route. Regarding the pharmacokinetics of third generation, it penetrates the blood-brain barrier like the second generation, whereas the first generation was lacking the ability to cross the CNS. These are excreted through kidneys. Fourth generation cephalosporin, their spectrum includes Pseudomonas, Staph aureus, H. influenza, and Streptococcus pneumoniae. And you can also tell that important thing is that it does not cover MRSA. Which generation is covering MRSA? Fifth generation. Fourth generation cephalosporins are used in hospital-acquired infections, febrile neutropenias, bacteremias, and septicemias. Now the fifth generation, the newest and the latest one, it is having two drugs, ceftobiprole and ceftaroline. Remember one thing, that both of these drugs are prodrugs, and in the names they have the word ROL, roll, ceftobiprole, ceftaroline. ठीक है? Fifth generation cephalosporins are active against MRSA, which is methicillin-resistant Staph aureus, and no other cephalosporins are active against MRSA. They have a broad spectrum gram-negative activity. Uses of fifth generation, they are used in skin and soft tissue infections, community-acquired pneumonia, and MRSA infections. Regarding the adverse effects of cephalosporins, there is pain at the injection site, particularly when given through intramuscular route, as well as there is complaint of thrombophlebitis. There is also a complaint of diarrhea, especially with cephalexin, cefixime, and cefoperazone, and there is also adverse effect of nephrotoxicity. Very important adverse effects of cephalosporins is the hypersensitivity reactions. Although its incidence is only 2%, but when it comes, it is accompanied by anaphylaxis, bronchospasm, and urticaria. There is also positive Coombs test, which is seen with another drug, which is alpha-methyl-dopa. There is complete cross-allergenicity between individual cephalosporins and partial cross-allergenicity with penicillins, and there is 5% chances, as I told you earlier. So as you can well appreciate in this picture, there is rashes, anaphylaxis, and urticaria. And in hypersensitivity reaction to penicillins or cephalosporins, it's a kind of anaphylaxis. So you need to give the treatment for anaphylaxis, which you have to write down for your assignment in today's lecture. Okay, what are the factors which cause anaphylaxis, and how do you treat anaphylactic reaction? So you have to answer this question. Number two adverse effects are bleeding, specifically with cefoperazone and ceftriaxone. Both of these are third generation cephalosporins. Then we have neutropenia, specifically thrombocytopenia, and we have biliary pseudolithiasis, stones in the biliary system, which is seen with the ceftriaxone because of its excretion through biliary system. Then there are chances of superinfection, which are also called superadded infection, when the normal, healthy, friendly flora of your gut is destroyed by the excessive use of antibiotics. Then it leads to superinfection, which is also called opportunistic infection and specifically seen with this candida. Then there is the history of adverse effects of disulfiram-like reaction, specifically with alcohol, and the drug is cefoperazone. And students, disulfiram-like reaction you have already covered in oral hypoglycemics as well. So you have to write down a short note on disulfiram-like reaction, the reason for disulfiram-like reaction, the drugs causing disulfiram-like reaction, and how to treat it. So the bleeding is particularly because of hypoprothrombinemia, and which is seen with ceftriaxone and cefoperazone. And the reason for the bleeding, which is asked in the Viva question as well, is because of its presence of methyl thiotetrazole group at the position 3, which leads to hypoprothrombinemia that is similar to warfarin. And it is more seen in the patients who have history of intra-abdominal infections, cancer, or renal failure. So if somebody asks you why there is bleeding with cephalosporins, you can easily tell because there is hypoprothrombemia, there is decreased production of prothrombin. It creates a condition that is similar to that of warfarin. And what is the reason? Because of its structure. So this is very important. Presence of methyl thiotetrazole at position 3, that it makes it vulnerable for bleeding and creates hypoprothrombemia. Then other adverse effects, which I just told you, are disulfiram-like effects and hyperprothrombinemia. These are particularly seen with these cephalosporins, which are cefamendrol, cefoperazone, perazone, and cefotetan. So it can be asked in your MCQ, disulfiram-like effects or hyperprothrombinemia is seen with which cephalosporins. So if it's written like cefaclor or ceftriaxone, then they are not the likely candidate. So these three drugs are more prone to cause these two adverse effects. So note down. So we have already done this slide, but let us revise the different generations and the spectrum. First, second, third, fourth, and fifth generation. So let us just have a quick review. First generation is covering more of the gram-positive organism, whereas second generation has better coverage against gram-negative, as first generation was only effective against 3 organisms of gram-negative: E. coli, Proteus, and Klebsiella. Second generation has a better effect as a henpeck in that it covers Haemophilus influenza, Enterobacter, and Neisseria species. Third generation is having much more better coverage against gram-negative organism because it is having coverage against Pseudomonas also. Whereas the gram-positive coverage of third generation is less than that of the first and second generation. Then the fourth generation is carrying the strong gram-positive coverage of first generation and the gram-negative coverage of the third generation. So it's a mixture of third and first generation, and it is also effective against the Pseudomonas. The fifth generation, it is the hallmark of the fifth generation is that it is effective against MRSA and also effective against anaerobic organisms. Okay, students, let's have a guessing game. We have already done all the generations, so let us see from which generation ceftriaxone belongs to. As you can see, the name of the end there is 1, and it is third generation most probably. Then ceftibutane, the name contains 10 at the end, so it is once again the third generation, because we discussed in third generation the ends of the name they have 1, 10, or me. Then we have another drug which is cephalothin, and this does not contain any of these, but it does contain cephalo, right? Cepha. So those drugs which contain cepha in the beginning belongs to first generation, except for one drug which is cefaclor, which belongs to the second generation. So this is the only cepha drug which is belonging to the second generation cephalosporins. So this is very important to do a little brainstorming and guess the generation of the drug. And I'm again and again emphasizing that the generations of cephalosporins, the classification is very important, and you should memorize at least four names, except for the fifth or fourth generation, which contains fewer drugs. Let us have another test. Ceftazidime is a third generation cephalosporin with activity against Pseudomonas. Is this true or false? So we discussed in the spectrum of third generation that they cover Pseudomonas infection. So this is true. Then another MCQ, right, true false is later generations of cephalosporins have greater gram-negative activity than earlier generation of cephalosporins. And this we have also discussed in the graph, which is shown that as the generation of the cephalosporin increases, the activity against the gram-negative organisms also increase. So this is also true. Thank you very much, students, for being with me and listening to the lecture. And kindly, if you need any help or any guidance regarding the content of the lecture, you can ask me anytime and submit your assignment on the respective WhatsApp groups. And let me remind you, you are having a monthly test on this Saturday, and the course is gastrointestinal system, and the other one is endocrine pharmacology. और आप लोगों का इसका टेस्ट भी हो चुका है एमसीक्यूज में जीआईटी में से यू हैव गॉन थ्रू एपीडी एंड इन एंडो यू हैव गॉन थ्रू डायबिटीज एंड corticosteroids. So emphasize more on those which you haven't prepared yet, and best of luck. And this would be considered as your monthly test, which is fifth monthly test. Previously, which you had, the written assessments were the whole compilation of the sixth test, which was the revision test of the summer vacation assignment. Thank you very much, and Allah Hafiz.